Okay, in this video, we're going to learn a strategy to determine the number of odd factors, and we're going to solve these three problems. And so let's begin. So first, let's do a factor tree. To get 36, it's going to be 3 times 12. To get 12, it's going to be 3 and 4. And 4, it's going to be 2 and 2. And so we could say we have 3 squared times 2 squared because we have 1, 2, 2 3s, and 1, 2, 2 2s. Likewise, for this first problem, let's list out all the ways to get 36. Like 1 times 36, 2 times 18, 3 times 12, and then we have 4 times 9, and then 6 times 6. Now this way of doing it is fine, but it's going to be very tedious. So if you do it this way, number of odd factors, that's 1, 2, and 3. We get 3. So the answer is 3. But we're going to learn a strategy. And before we even do this strategy, let's think about some things. What's an odd times an odd? For example, 3 times 5 is going to give us 15, 5 times 7 is 35, and so an odd times an odd is an odd. Now let's try an odd number times an even number. So for example, 3 times 4 we get 12, 5 times 8 we get 40, so an odd times an even is an even number. Likewise, let's try an even times an even. That's kind of obvious. 2 times 4 we get 8, 6 times 4 we get 24, so an even times an even is an even number. And so the only way to get an odd number by multiplication is an odd times an odd. Now this 2 is even, but the 3 is odd. So we could have combinations of 3. One combination could be 3 raised to 0, which is 1. We could also do 3 raised to 1 and get 3, and we could do 3 squared and get 9. But we have to stop at 2 because we're limited. It says 3 squared. And so if you want a neat little formula, we see our odd number, in our case 3. We see our power. The power is 2. Just add 1. So 2 plus 1, we get 3, and that's our final answer. Now this is our next problem, and we do the same procedure. We think how to get 250, and that's going to be 2 times 125. Then we think how to get 125, and that's going to be 5 times 25. Then we think how to get 25, and that's going to be 5 times 5. And so what we could say is it's going to be 2 raised to 1 times 5 raised to 3, and that's going to give us 250. Now 2 is even, so we get to ignore it, so now just focus on our 3. And so our answer is going to be 3 plus 1, which is equal to 4. So there's 4 odd factors. And in particular, they're going to be 5 raised to 0, 5 raised to 1, 5 raised to 2, 5 raised to 3. So we'll get 1, we'll get 5, we'll get 25, and we're going to get 125. Now our last problem is 999. So we can say 3 times 3, 3, 3. Then we can say 3 times 111. Then we can say 3 times 37. So we have 3 cubed times 37 raised to 1. Now in this case, 3 is odd and also 37 is odd. So we're going to focus on this piece and this piece. So the number of odd factors will be 3 plus 1 times 1 plus 1. And 3 plus 1, we're going to get 4. 4 times 2, we get 8. So there's going to be 8 odd factors. And we can see them like this. 3 raised to 0 times 37 raised to 0, we get 1. We can do 3 raised to 1 times 37 raised to 1, and we're going to get 111. Then we could do 3 squared times 37 raised to 1, and we're going to get 333. And we can also do 3 raised to 3 times 37 raised to 1, and we're going to get 999. Likewise, we could do 3 raised to 1 times 37 raised to 0 and get 3. 3 raised to 2 times 37 raised to 0 and get 9. And 3 raised to 3 times 37 raised to 0 and get 27. And our last one, we can get 3 raised to 0 times 37 raised to 1 and get 37. And if we count it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 odd factors. And that's pretty much it for this video.